Support comes from Seattle Restored, revitalizing Seattle neighborhoods with creativity and commerce. Over 95 vacant storefronts have been transformed into vibrant pop-up shops, window art installations, and artist residences. Explore current and past locations at seattlerestored.org. Support comes from Pacific Northwest Ballet, presenting the Northwest holiday tradition, the Nutcracker, live and on stage at McCaw Hall through December 28th. The Nutcracker is a journey through a holiday party, epic battle, and falling snow in the land of sweets. Tickets and info at pnb.org.
Hey there, welcome to Meet Me Here, your weekly guide to arts and culture events worth leaving your house for. I am Dyer Oxley. I cover pop culture for KUOW. But this week, we're going to be talking sports. We're going to be talking sports from my own pop culture-y angle, because I know there are a lot of folks out there who can relate to what I'm about to lay out, right? It's Thanksgiving time. Maybe it's Friendsgiving, whatever. There's an oven roasting, potatoes mashing, and a TV shining football all across the room. There's an uncle, a cousin, some friends, all chatting up sports around you, sending stats and player attributes your way, diving into team history, and if you are like me, all you really have to contribute is something lame like, well, I just hope both teams have fun, which is actually something I have said. Now, it's not that I'm totally ignorant about sports. I know how baseball is played. I know the difference between 2 and 3 pointers in basketball. How many home runs it takes to win a football game. Maybe kidding on that last one. But in general, I don't know sports. I don't really have the interest. I would rather talk about Star Trek. I would rather talk about bands and movies, or how cumin is an underrated spice. Even just complain about ugly Seattle architecture. Interesting stuff to me. But inevitably, I will be in the midst of sportsy talk, which happens all year round. It's at the office. It's at the bar, the coffee shop. I have been trapped by sports in a grocery store checkout line. It did not go well. I know there are others out there who get lost in the world of sports fervor, so we are going to come up with a cheat guide to sports conversations. Some helpful tips, some helpful tricks to camouflage yourself among the banter. And if you're a sports fan, I ask that you also stay tuned to see if we pull this off or if we miss anything. But first, as always, something else happening that I think is pretty cool. The Holiday Magic Cabaret with Marites Zerbano at the Rabbit Box Theater down at Pike Place Market. There are 2 showings for this one, December 14th and another on December 21st. So check out the calendar posting at therabbitboxseattle.com for details and tickets for those dates. This is an 80-minute magic/cabaret show with sleight of hand, even some mind reading, from master magician Marites Zerbano, who has toured the world and whose articles about the magic industry have been published in various magazines and the Seattle Times. Now, it is also a cabaret show with Panay Grigio, a local Filipina-American burlesque performer, so this event is recommended to be 21 and older. Again, more info is over at the Rabbit Box Seattle website.
Support comes from Seattle Restored, revitalizing Seattle neighborhoods with creativity and commerce. Over 95 vacant storefronts have been transformed into vibrant pop-up shops, window art installations, and artist residences. Explore current and past locations at seattlerestored.org.
Did you see that ludicrous display last night?
What was they thinking, sending Walcott on that early?
I love this episode of the IT Crowd. It's a sitcom about 2 guys in the UK, Moss and Roy, who discover this online guide to talking about sports with, well, regular people.
You were saying football things in a football voice. How do you know about football things?
Oh, it's this new site. It basically sends you a list of football phrases that you can use in normal conversation. Updated daily. It's great. I only use it so I can say something to the postman.
Since you're listening to this podcast, I assume you like pop culture, nerd culture if you're listening to me, and you may not know that much about sports. This clip from the IT crowd made me wish that I had a guide like that. And then I realized that I host a podcast. So we're making a guide. To help me and to help you survive the inevitable sports conversation with some jersey-wearing family member over the holidays, I have brought in 2 sports-loving advisors, and together we are going to come up with a cheat guide to talking sports in Seattle, perhaps beyond. First up is Paige Browning, a newscaster, podcast host, and colleague here at KUOW. I will note that basically when the office sports chat starts up at our station, I have noticed Paige is mostly leading a lot of these conversations.
I'm noisy.
Knows more than a thing or two here, so Paige is here. Welcome,
Thank
Paige.
you
Thank
so
you very
much. Let's go. Go Dyer. Here we go.
That sounds... I'm so out of
feel
my
uncomfortable?
comfort zone right now. Yeah, that's too much hype for me. Also here is Danny Ball. Danny is host of the Iconic Sonics podcast. Also runs marketing for Simply Seattle. Thank you for being here, Danny.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me on, Dyer.
We're first going to start with some sports cred. We're going to establish the sports cred. What are your teams? Who do you follow? What are you excited for right now?
Yeah, I mean, the Seahawks are playing great football. As you mentioned, I follow the Sonics. It's a team that doesn't exist, which I think...
I'm curious about that.
That's hard to follow.
It's-
Only the most dedicated of fans can follow the Sonics anymore.
For listeners who may not know, the Supersonics were Seattle's basketball team from 1967 until 2008, when the team was sold and left the city. It's still a pretty sore subject around here.
It's very Seattle sports about me. I love just making it harder on myself than it needs to be, torturing myself.
Paige, who are your teams here locally? Who are you?
At Seattle Storm. That is
Okay.
my number one. I love the Storm, and I see Danny.
We also support them
you've
over
got
at
the
Iconic
pop
Sonics.
socket.
If you don't support the Storm now, you don't deserve to support the Sonics when they come back. That's my take.
You're bringing tears to my eyes when I hear people talk about how much they miss the Sonics. I'm like, you better be in the Storm seats. Anyway,
Agreed.
but Seattle Storm, WNBA, that's my team. I watch the Mariners. I'm I'm not a bandwagoner. I go to at least 5 games a year, but like really got into it, as we all did in the sports world this playoff season. And I'm going to be following our new hockey team, the Torrent.
Oh, that's right. I do like that they themed this stuff. Storm, rain, torrent.
Torrent, exactly.
All right, I want to dribble right into
Good
this.
job.
See you.
See if we can make a layup, pull off a hat trick, perhaps.
Yes.
So if I find myself offsides on a conversation and have to call an audible, okay, yeah.
You're schooling
doing
us.
it. You're doing the
I was
thing.
saying,
You're
yeah,
doing the
no,
thing.
I was saying, yeah, you guys are saying.
But what sport are you talking about?
I don't know. If you just cringed out there, then you know what it's like to have a conversation with me. Usually people don't respond that good when I'm that bad. So thank you very much for my self-esteem. Danny, I understand you have this system people can use to navigate these conversations.
I grew up, I love basketball, obviously, as we were talking about earlier.
And your last name's Ball.
And my last name's Ball, and it's related to that. And so when I was being taught basketball at a very young age, you're taught a 4-letter acronym, BEEF, BEEF, and it's balance, elbow, eyes, and follow through, and it's how you shoot your jump shot. So I thought maybe I could create a 4-letter acronym using my last name, Ball,
Okay.
easy to remember. B. Big shifts. So it's like, this is a reaction. Like, you don't even have to know what's going on, but everybody in the room gets loud when you're watching a game. You just throw out that's a big momentum shift right there.
Ooh.
Everybody will think that you're like, you work for
like,
ESP. They're like, he gets it.
He's locked in. He knows.
As the kids are saying, he knows ball.
He knows ball.
Okay.
Knows ball. Like, if you just throw out that's a big momentum shifter. Wow, that's, whatever it is, anytime you hear the room move, you can kind of get your little 2 cents in.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
all righty.
A is for agree or argue vaguely.
Mm-hmm.
If you're having a good time with someone and you're like, let's like spice it up a little bit. It's an uncle, it's a cousin, somebody that you're close with. I don't agree with that. Just see what it does. Being a sports fan,
Because they will say something.
But what if they have to ask you to defend your stance?
they won't. Sports
Okay.
fans
They
just it's
won't.
emotion.
They just wanna
right?
talk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
you see.
They really only care about their team.
Yup. And then 2 and 1, my 2 L's are local and then legends. Like, just throw those names out. Conversation's getting cold. You don't know where to go. Bring up LeBron James. Bring up Sue Bird. Bring up Lenny Wilkins. Any of these big names that you know, throw that out there. You'll get somebody going down a rabbit hole, and that's how you get people to catch. That's the ball method. So, big shifts, argue or agree, and then local and legends.
I like the legends
that's
part
good.
though. So if that happens though, I will tell people, because I've been in a similar situation. Don't bring up the time you saw Jeremy Enoch at University Village. Nobody knows about 90s emo when you do that. Anyway, I do love that very, very much. Ball. I am going to write that on my hand next time I am in a room.
good.
There is a sub note here. I'm supposed to ask Paige about the Etsy witch. What the heck is... Huh?
Well, okay. I'm looking at you with confusion because you had to have heard this term.
I heard the Wall Street Journal podcast on Etsy witches.
Okay.
Yeah.
The deal with the Etsy witch, the reason that I think it's perfect to bring up in this conversation and over Thanksgiving or whenever you're with a sports group next, is that was such a sparkling, fun topic to talk about throughout the whole Mariners playoffs. So if you somehow missed this because you're a dyer in a world of sports fans, which we love, the Mariners have not been a good team historically. Someone paid a witch on Etsy, the Etsy witch, to F the Mariners this season, and they went all the way through the playoffs, just shy of the World Series, and a lot of people are thanking the witch. I saw many Halloween costumes about the Etsy witch, so that you can almost just drop into conversation. And
Okay.
anyone who's remotely followed the MLB playoffs, Major League Baseball, they're going to have something to say about this. It's fun. Like Danny was saying with local and legends, if you can find something to talk about that's just like a cultural reference related to
the
a team.
side.
To the side.
But that's the thing, is sports is usually happening at family gatherings, right?
Right.
So is this a plus or a minus going on here?
I think it's a plus.
I do too.
I think
Okay.
football is the best. I was just saying this to a friend. I think it's the best background sport there is because you kind of know like the flows of it. Whereas like baseball, it's like you got to be all the way locked in and you can miss something in like a second.
Yeah.
Football, there's like so much time between the plays and all these replays and stuff. It's
Right.
like a good conversational kind of piece in the background.
And ads, they always have clever commercials.
They always
Clever
have
commercials.
especially for football because there are so few games that the advertisers really pack it in. Where baseball, you still got good ads, but they're playing all the time. Same with basketball.
I don't think baseball seasons really end, do they? They just
They
keep
never
going. Yeah.
end. Yeah,
That's
they
the
never
one
end.
thing I've learned about baseball is it's always happening.
Yeah. And I will say, is it a good idea to have sports on at family gatherings? I do think yes, because I find sports to be sort of a safe topic to bring up. You're not talking about politics. You're not talking about who's in the White House, who won the mayoral race. You're not talking about religion, arguing over fossil fuels, which I might be doing otherwise. It's like, this is a topic that maybe you can kind of get into it with Uncle Todd or whoever, the uncle, of course. But like in general, you're talking about entertainment. It's just for fun. And so it's kind of safe. My only caveat is that when a game comes on at a family gathering that people care about, I sort of lose that sect of the party.
Yeah.
It's like the sports people are now on the TV and everyone else
Right.
is like
That's
in
a
the
good
kitchen
point.
or whatever.
That's a really good
So
point.
it's a little segregating in that way.
I am curious about Seattle-specific tips. And I have a couple examples for you, but things that fans like in the know would get. On the IT crowd, they have this line that they're always bringing up called the thing about Arsenal is they always want to walk it in, and like people, it works. People get it. We have a colleague at this station, and she got the advice when the Mariners were exploding and all that from another baseball fan. They said, just complain about the management if the Mariners ever come up. And she tried it here at KUOW, and it totally worked. So is there anything like that rings a bell for you that folks can kind of pull out of their pocket at a
Yeah.
moment's notice?
Danny.
Yeah, because our Sonics aren't around, my favorite NBA basketball player plays for the Lakers. His name is Luka Doncic.
Okay.
He complains to officials more than any other basketball player I've ever seen. He also is like the favorite to be the most valuable player in the NBA this year.
Okay.
So if we're going to take anything from one of the best basketball players in the world, just complain about the refs. Just especially in football, there can be one of the best sayings in football, and announcers like on the game say this all the time. There could be holding called every single play if they wanted to. Like they could call a penalty every single play. Every once in a while, just throw out, oh, come on, that's holding. That's hold. As long as it's like a big play against the Seahawks, you throw out a that's holding, and you'll get at least 2 or 3.
I feel like you just gave me one right. Say that's holding.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is football?
And this is in football.
And when the Seahawks are on defense. So we can't be on offense. If we're on offense, you're complaining that we're committing the penalty.
Okay.
So as long as the other team's got the ball and they're moving down the field, throw out a that's holding, and like that literally 100% of the time will be true.
At the party, this is going to be what's going on. I'm going to turn to someone and go, are we on defense right now? And they're going to say yes. I'm like, that's holding.
That's holding.
Come on,
Dyer.
referee.
And they're going to say, that guy knows ball. Exactly.
That guy knows
just like that.
oblong ball.
And I want to add to this that similarly in basketball, in the WNBA this year, there's been a lot of complaints about the reffing, which I think also transfers to the NBA, and they share some refs.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much anytime you've got a basketball game on this winter, it'll be the men's side. You can be like, they're not even calling the fouls, or like the foul calls are so uneven.
Right.
You don't even have to know who's got the ball. Just the foul calls are so uneven. Like it's really inconsistent.
Yep.
Because it probably is.
Basketball fouls, football holding. Write that down.
There you go.
Write that down at home.
We're going to get you, again, this is a sports reference, but in the NFL, quarterbacks have all their little plays on a little sweatband.
Yeah.
We got to get you one of those little Velcro sweatbands that has all these right here.
Yeah. And I can like read it. I see what you're saying. I like these tips, but I do want to get to one thing that seems to be kind of at the core of all this that maybe we're not addressing. Why is sports even a thing? Like, why? What is the importance? Like, spiritually, culturally, like, why are we making such a big deal about this stuff to begin with? To somebody who's like coming in fresh and being like, I don't get the big deal.
Okay.
So explain to me as if I am a child. Like, what's the big deal? Why is everybody screaming?
You don't have to be a child in this scenario.
Okay.
But to me, sports, it's entertainment, plain and simple. So, Dyer, you are into, as you would call it, nerd culture. You're into movies. For a lot of people, they like watching sports. It's just that. There's sort of all types of entertainment cuisine, if you will. Some people are book people. A lot of people are sports people. And I think it's because, and this is true for me, there's community around it that is like really, really entrenched and rich. And when I meet another person who follows the Mariners or the Storm, or I'm traveling across the country and I see someone with that jersey, I feel a connection to them that maybe you would feel when you see someone in like a Marvel. Are you a Marvel guy?
I'm all
or
of it.
DC. Okay.
Don't get me started on the movies.
You might feel that, but for sports, it's entertainment, and there's like a brotherhood, sisterhood around it. I think because it's so based on rivalry. Everyone who's watching this entertainment is in their own little camp. They're in their own troop, and they like live and die by what happens with that camp, with that team.
I am not disagreeing. I'm not arguing with you. No offense to anybody. Could you not just play Dungeons and Dragons?
But you're talking about you playing.
Yes,
right?
that is true.
You're
Like
talking about
playing.
you playing. I don't know that much about D&D. Do you watch other people play it?
Yes,
I know that's
actually,
a thing.
that's a huge business, and it's actually eating away at streaming services because people are looking at like YouTube of actual games and stuff. You can go locally here and see Drag Queen and D&D games
I've
live
heard
at
about
bars
this.
and
Yes.
stuff. Yeah, it's a wonderful performance art as well as a game, but it's also something you can play. I can go down a rabbit hole there, but I won't.
No, but like imagine if that had a logo and everybody, not everybody, but like that people were repping that brand of like
Right.
I watch drag and Dungeons and Dragons, and they had like a DDOD hat, and then when you walk down the street you could be like, hey, DDOD, like, you know, or even you don't have to, but it's like it's almost like you can just exchange a smile. Like
Yes.
my version of it is when I see somebody wearing Sonic stuff, this team doesn't exist. We're going to have guys playing professionally that were born after the team left Seattle. So when I see somebody wearing Sonic stuff, it's not only like basketball fan, like we have a shared interest, but it's also like they're keeping something alive that I have a vested interest for. And so that's like an even deeper connection. And I'll give them a little like bring the Sonics back. And every time I get one right back from somebody in Seattle. So that's a local tip.
Paige Browning is a newscaster and podcast host for KUOW and a Seattle sports fan. Danny Ball is the host of the Iconic Sonics podcast and does marketing for Simply Seattle. Thank you both for coming and hanging out and explaining this all to me and not making fun of me too much.
Thanks so much for having me, Dyer. This is a blast.
Thank you, Dyer.
Meet Me Here is produced by KUOW, a proud member of the NPR network. It is produced by Kyle Norris, Brandy Fullwood, and Matt Martin. If you like Meet Me Here, please rate and review us. It really does help us get the word out about the show. Podcasts like Meet Me Here are only possible because of your financial support. You can help us make all of these local shows that you rely on at kuow.org/meet. And thanks for listening.
I'm a firm believer that nature is healing. In these chaotic times, I invite you to take a breath and reconnect with our natural world. Wow. Right in front of us. I'm Chris Morgan. Join me on The Wild as we explore stories of hope and resilience in nature. We'll bring you up close to some extraordinary species and learn how they are finding ways to adapt and thrive in fast-changing environments. Listen to The Wild on the KUOW app or wherever you get your podcasts.